Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Max. So I hope you're all staying safe and well out there. And of course, yesterday I was on Northside's channel, an Arsenal fan, talking about all things NUFC. So do go check him out. I will put the link to his channel down in the description below. And of course, I will put it on the card up above as well. So you can go check out that video where, of course, I talked about all things Newcastle United with Northside, the Arsenal fan, over on his channel. It was a really great stream, and good luck to Northside as well with his channel going forward. Hopefully, you will be able to gain the followers moving on from this point. Now, let's get into topics. Let's get into the news of the video. Of course, this is to talk about the update that we got on Lucas Paqueta, also to talk about other NUFC news as well. I won't cover the stadium stuff that has been going around because I'm going to do a separate video talking about that. And of course, that is going to be a different video where I'll explain a little bit more in detail my thoughts on, the updates that's been done to the stadium. Also, I'll be talking about another topic as well, which I've seen circulating around quite a bit as well, which is about St James's Park and possibly a new stadium, which we will talk about that in another video. But in today's video, we're going to talk about, of course, the news circulating around transfers, also the news of Emil Kraft, who has now picked up a brand new contract. He's signed a 1-year deal, and it came out yesterday by Newcastle United on their official Twitter account that Emil Kraft has extended a 1-year contract with Newcastle United until 2024. It's great news. The lad has been playing really well for Newcastle. He deserves this contract extension, but looking at it, is he going to get as much game time when, you've got Kieran Trippier in there? Hopefully, we'll see a lot more of Trippier this season than we did last season when he came in, because he got that stupid injury and he was out for quite a while, and what was now on the remainder of the season as well. So it would be nice to see, Kieran Trippier get more game time. Being able to stay fit would be a nice scene as well, because, he was doing wonders for Newcastle on and off the pitch. Even when he picked up the injury, he was still following the team, which was fantastic to see. You don't see that much at the end of the day with other players, where they usually just run away once they get injured and they can't be asked, with the team. But Kieran Trippier dug in there. He continued to support the team even though he was injured, and that is the pure dedication. But Emil Kraft fully deserves that contract extension that he's picked up there for another year in Newcastle United, and hopefully, he will still get game time in Newcastle as well. He's done fantastic when he's been called upon, so credit to the lad, and he fully deserves that 1-year extension. Moving on from Emil Kraft, we will talk about news coming from Alfonso Leocadio, I believe it is pronounced, who is saying that there's breaking news that Newcastle have inquired for duo of Rennes, Calamandi Sulemana, I believe it is pronounced. If I've butchered that, I do apologise. But Calamandi of Rennes, of course, is a player that Newcastle have inquired about. I haven't seen too much of him, to be honest, but I have watched a couple of videos of him on YouTube, as everybody usually does, to see, what kind of player he is. Not that you can always go off of them videos though, however, because they usually do only show the best bits of the player. But he does look pretty impressive, I've got to say. So, maybe he is a one that, could improve the squad when he does come in, or if he does come in, but it's another one, where we're just going to have to wait and see in time, moving forward. Only time will tell at the end of the day if he does eventually become a Newcastle United player. And of course, the other target that Leocardo was talking about was, of course, somebody I've already talked about on this channel before, RB Salzburg striker Benjamin Sesko. This is a player, that I would love to see join Newcastle United. I have seen a few clips of him playing online, and I've got to say he is absolutely fantastic. He's a powerhouse player, but he's a special kind of powerhouse player because he's also got that lightning quick speed as well. And for a guy that's 6'4", is pretty impressive. He's only 19 years old as well, so he's got a lot of time still left to grow. So it's going to be interesting to see where he is in the next, 10 years from now. It's going to be interesting to see what he's done in his career, and hopefully, it will have been at Newcastle United that he is doing it or done it at. So it'll be interesting to see. But this news, of course, is coming from Alfonso Leocado, and of course that's coming from Mark Douglas as well, of the Eye. Talking about it, we'll talk a little bit about Jonjo Shelvey as well. During a fitness test last month, Jonjo Shelvey had lost 32 millimeters of fat in a pinch test. After spending his summer working hard in Turkey, he looks to be in the shape of his life, ready to fight for his place in the first team ahead of the new season, which of course starts on the 6th of August. And I've got to say, I fully, you know, approve of the way Jonjo Shelvey is now looking at his football at Newcastle United. He's looking at it in a positive way, and it's amazing to see, that he's got a revitalised look at Newcastle. He's fighting for to try and get, a contract extension at the club. He's fighting to, get that first team place at the club as well, and he's been impressive in the pre-season so far. He's been really impressive. Of course, Newcastle take on Benfica later on today at the Estadio de la Luis. So, if he plays in that game, it'll be interesting to see, if he can continue on this pre-season form that he's showed, and if he can drag it into the season as well, would be impressive. But we'll see, as the season goes on, if Jonjo Shelvey can fight for that place. I do believe he's only 3 games away from getting the contract extension. So I do think, he will get that because, he obviously is going to play games, even if he is, coming in as maybe a rotation player or a squad player, so I do believe, he will get the games, and he's been really impressive. I have been really impressed with the way Jonjo Shelvey's played since Eddie Howe's come into the club. But moving on from that, of course, we will talk about news coming from Daya Rios, I believe it is pronounced, in this news, is saying that Newcastle United want Marco Asensio, which we have talked about on this channel already. But of course, according to Daya Rios, he is saying that Marco Asensio wants to stay at Real Madrid. Now, I'd love to see Marco Asensio join Newcastle United. This is a guy, that has played at the highest levels, been playing at the highest level for a very long time. So he can give a lot to Newcastle United. He could really improve our side coming in with the knowledge that he's got of playing in the Champions League, the knowledge he's got of playing at the highest level of international football as well. So it would be very interesting to see, Marco Asensio come to Newcastle United, but it looks like, according to the Arios, he is saying that Marco Asensio wants to stay at Real Madrid, which, if that is the case, then so be it. Like I've said with many other targets, where they seem to be pretty against coming to Newcastle United, or they just don't want to come right now. There's plenty of more targets that we can be looking at, but that's a little bit of an update there on Marco Asensio from Diarias. And of course, we'll move on to talk about the women's side of the game. And then we'll go back to talking about the first team for the men. And of course, we'll talk about the women's game as the women, of course, took on West Bromwich Albion. Now, I know I'm a little bit late at the party on this one. Of course, it has been a little while since it took on West Brom women. But Newcastle women, of course, suffered their first defeat of pre-season in a 5-1 defeat at Coach Lane. Now, it was against a third-tier West Brom women's side. So obviously, they are a tier above what Newcastle United women are. So you kind of expect this kind of result. Maybe not as heavy of a defeat as it is, but at the end of the day, it's only pre-season. I know nobody likes to lose at the end of the day. Obviously, Newcastle, lost against Men's in the pre-season, but again, it's only pre-season. It's not going to affect, the form when the league actually kicks off. So this is probably the best time to be losing games in the pre-season, because then you're getting at least a chance to see where you've went wrong, where you can correct it, and where you can, improve the squad moving forward from there. But I do, feel for the women losing 5-1. It's not nice when you lose, obviously, but at the end of the day, at least it's happened in the pre-season where they have a chance, to see where it all went wrong and to be able to correct it from there. Moving on to talk from yet again more news on Broja, a player that, of course, Chelsea have been trying to get off their books. It did look like this one was off the table, as it did look like West Ham had secured the signature for Broja from Chelsea, but then, of course, West Ham had a change of heart. They stole the deal. They took a look at Samaka out in the Serie A, and of course, they decided, that they wanted to go with Samaka instead. He has now had his medical, Samaka, with West Ham, and he will be, of course, going to West Ham as a player. So that means that Broja is now back on the table. Newcastle are interested in the player. Everton are also interested in the player, and I think there's a number of other clubs as well also interested in the player. But this news comes from Mark Douglas of the News, who was saying that Broja is still an option for Newcastle. Club working hard to make additions in a difficult market. No sense of panic. And of course, forwards were always going to be more difficult to get, which is fully agreeable there. I fully agree with Mark Douglas on that one. This is always the toughest area to purchase players, acquire players to your club. At the end of the day, these are the guys that score the goals, and these are the guys that can win your games with them goals. So you've got to get it right from the get-go. You can't be going out there, like we've seen with other clubs in the past where they've went out there and blasted 30, 40 million, even more, on a player, and they've been an absolute dud. We need to get this right from the get-go. We need to bring in somebody that's going to be a proven goal scorer, somebody that's going to be able to, of course, push the team forward, improve the team as well on what we've already got in the team. So if Broja is that guy, that would be interesting to see. I think I heard a rumour somewhere that it was going to be about 15 to maybe 20 million for to bring Broja in. Don't quote us on that, of course, but that is what I think I heard going around. So if that is the deal, then that would be absolutely fantastic, because he has got Premier League experience, and that is something that Newcastle have been looking at, the players with Premier League experience, players that can come into the squad, hit the ground running from the get-go, and I think Broja, could be one of them players. So again, only time will tell. Just keep an eye out on this channel if there's any updates on Broja or any of the other transfer news that I've been talking about so far, then I'll tell you on this channel as time goes on. But let's talk about Julian Draxler now. This is a player Newcastle are interested in. A contract, of course, with PSG, and the player, and of course, PSG wants 20 to 30 million euros. Now, this is coming via Latin Sports, so I don't know how credible this source is, but I'll leave that up to you guys. But Julian Draxler, would you have him in Newcastle United? 28 years old, German international. I think his last international game, if I remember rightly, was back in March of this year. So, he's pretty up there, still in the highest level of the game. He's been playing at PSG as well. He's had quite a few games for PSG last season, and that's pretty impressive when you consider, that you've got to be able to get in there and beat away the likes of Lionel Messi, Neymar, and Kylian Mbappe, just to get into the squad. So to be able to get game time at PSG with players like that ahead of you is pretty impressive. So let's see, what happens with this one. It is quite an interesting, you know, move if Newcastle can make it. Of course, like I say, he's a German international, 28 years old. His last game for Germany was back in March of this year. He has won a World Cup with Germany as well back in 2014, and he's got a individual awards as well for best up and coming player. When he was younger, coming through the game. So it's all an interesting one. That one, I love to see what happens with that one, how it unfolds going forward as well. But let's talk now about the main man, the main news. Is Lucas Paqueta, somebody that Newcastle United have been talking about a lot, us fans have been talking about a lot, and of course, news coming out that Arsenal director Edu rules out a move for Newcastle target Lucas Paqueta. I think he said something along the lines of, that he is a Newcastle target and it will be quite hard to try and, get him to Arsenal when he seems to already have his heart set on a move to Newcastle United. Obviously, we've seen pictures of him with his best mate Bruno on the quayside. We've seen pictures of him in the back garden of Bruno as well, wearing the Newcastle United shirt, having a kickabout. We've seen many pictures of Bruno and Lucas Paqueta together all over Newcastle. So, this one is basically a signed, sealed, and delivered deal. All Newcastle's got to do is put in the offer, agree the wages with the player, and we've got ourselves another absolutely sensational world-class player. And, is it going to be in this window? I don't know. But, we'll see. Hopefully it is. There's still plenty of time left of this window, right away until the 1st of September. So there's plenty of time left, to be able to acquire players. I've seen loads of people panicking, thinking, oh, we need to get players over the line. To quote Pardew on that one, of course. I think people seem to forget that the transfer window doesn't close until the 1st of September. It has went back to the old way of the transfer window. We're not closing the transfer window before the first game, like we have seen with previous seasons. We've went back to the old way, of where the transfer window doesn't shut until the 1st of September, like the rest of the clubs in the world do. And that's a sensible way to look at it as well, because there was a lot of players being poached from their clubs because we were closing our transfer windows early, and the rest of the clubs around Europe and around the world were still having their transfer window open, and they were able to, swoop in there and steal some of the best players from the Premier League and take them off to, La Liga or Liga or Bundesliga, and take them away to their leagues. But this Lucas Paqueta one will be very interesting to see. There's a lot, that is going on this deal. I'm sure there'll be a lot going behind the scenes on this deal as well. There's a lot of conversations going on, I'm sure, between Bruno and Lucas Paqueta as well. Bruno, telling him what it's like here on Tyneside. Obviously, he's already been here as well when he's visited Bruno, like I've just mentioned. So this one, like I say, it's a signed, sealed, and delivered deal. It's all about just getting the fee in there and getting them to agree to the contract, as well for the wages. So that is my thoughts on that one. I can't wait to see him in a black and white shirt. That's what I'm going to say there. I really can't wait to see him in a black and white shirt, because having, Lucas Paqueta and Bruno in that midfield, and then add Joe Linton into the mix as well. You could have a Brazilian trio in the midfield. That'll be absolutely sensational to see. And especially the link-up play between Bruno and Lucas Paqueta as well. I've talked about it on the channel before. It could be next level. It could take Newcastle to a whole nother level of competing. And if we perform anything like we performed when Eddie Howe came in last season, then we will be flying up the Premier League. But let us know your thoughts, of course, down in the comments below. And of course, there is going to be, talk about, like I said at the beginning of the video, another video out talking about a possible stadium development. It's all a concept, obviously, but it will be quite intriguing to dive into it and have a bit look at that on another video. And of course, we will be talking about the stadium updates and revamps around the stadium, as well as there has been a bit more of that in the recent news circulating the club. And also, I'd like to give a massive shout out as well to NUFC Keep Up on Instagram, who made the thumbnail for this video. Do go check them out. Do give them some support as well. And I am, of course, giving them a little bit of a trial on the channel to do the thumbnails. I know I usually always do the thumbnails myself, but I thought I'd give somebody a chance, to show off their skills. Maybe, it can help out the guy moving forward, as well, and help him to be able to better himself as well as a designer, as a creator. So do go check him out. I will put his link down in the description below as well, so you can go check him out. I'll put it up here as well, if I can, on the card, so you can go check out his Instagram account. Fantastic guy, and very, very friendly as well. So do go check him out. And like I say, massive thanks to him for the thumbnail on this video that I have today. Till next time, remember to like, share, subscribe to 100% Mags, and I'll see you all next time. However, lads.